We're here, we're queer, and we're going to take some deep dives into the lone queer characters present in horror films past. Horror has always been queer, but in the past, the obvious representation has been scarce. Coding and baiting were prevalent, but there are some characters who have stood out as solid queer individuals. Most of those end up dead and buried by the film's end, thus giving birth to the phrase bury your queers, so let's resurrect them and give them the respect that is deserved for the lone queer. For the inaugural lone queer, we're going to delve into an individual in a recent horror film. In the latter half of the 2010s, Blumhouse presented director Jeff Wadlow with the option to create a horror film based on the game Truth or Dare. That's all Wadlow was given, and with his team of writers, they came up with the 2018 release of Blumhouse's Truth or Dare. In the film, a group of college friends are led to a mysterious building by a random dude, and their excursion turns into a game of Truth or Dare. But surprise to the friends, as once this game begins, cannot be escaped. They must complete the truths and dares given to them by a demon, Calyx, or they are killed. Amongst this group of friends is Brad Chang. A gray person who identifies as male, Brad seems to have a comfortable spot amongst his companions. He's respected, understood, and flows really well within the group. We're told almost instantly the fact that he is gay. It's done in a way that's pretty organic, a gay joke, we see him making out with another guy at a party, a girlfriend who jokingly lusts after him makes the comments of if you weren't gay, etc. It was genuinely nice to see a queer character amongst a group of cis straight individuals be treated as any other person without too much placement on their sexuality. Much like a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel, the truths and dares placed upon the group of friends are based on their personas or their trauma. The alcoholic has to drink an entire bottle of vodka while walking around the edge of the roof of a house. The misogynistic dude has to show his wiener to a bar full of patrons, and best friends have to reveal and act upon their love for the same guy. One can pretty much guess where this will go for the queer character. Throughout the film, Brad has two plays in Calyx's game. The first, a truth, results in Brad being forced to come out to his father, Han. The second, a dare, results in Brad's death. A queer is buried. He's buried in such a traumatic way. His dare was to make his father beg for his life. He points his father's gun at him, pleading for him to beg for his life. Han plays the victim, saying that he deserves this due to his prior ignorance. Imagine being put in a situation where you've just experienced coming out to your parent, which results in their acceptance, and then having to threaten their life. As triggering as this could be for a viewer, and as horrible as it is for Brad and his father, a reminder has to be made that we're watching a horror movie. This is the epitome of horror for these characters. Brad meets his demise by a way of gunshot from another cop who witnessed what was going on. You know the best friends in horror films who are quite literally the emotional center of the film? The ones who tend to be more relatable and enjoyable than the main character?
The ones who you have invested so much in only for them to die and kickstart the final act? That's Brad. While the other characters were running around, doing dares and truths based on backstabbing and hearsay, aside from that one dare involving alcohol, Brad endured a huge life-changing moment. Then he had to retract on that moment with hopes of survival, but alas, there was no survival. His inclusion within the story of Truth or Dare, as with all queer characters in media, is important. It gives queers something to relate to. It gives straight people the fact that queer people exist in our lives. It gives insight on the plates that a queer character can experience, which are always notched up a few degrees in the world of horror. Brad was just a normal, early 20-something about to graduate college.
He was under his father's scrutiny for the majority of his life. Although the game made him come out to his father, its results were positive. From a queer perspective, that's a world that we wish to involve ourselves in. Not the demon pressuring us to come out or we die, but the release that is felt once we do come out and are accepted. Trust though, that's not always the case, and coming out can be a worse horror movie than Truth or Dare could have ever imagined being.
What do you think of Brad, the lone queer of Truth or Dare? Let me know on Twitter @BrooksAJoshua or share your thoughts with @DreadCentral across social media.